Hi, I'm Matt from Carla Homes. I'm one of the site managers here at Cuffield to Puckeridge. I have two members here today, one from MME Electrical and one from Tarbin's Plumbing and Heating, and we'll just be running through a few key points of your new home and how to use some of the bits and pieces you have, electrical, plumbing, heating, doors, windows.
So this is your consumer unit. Inside you have circuit breakers. You've got them for the lights, the ovens, any sockets. In the event of something going wrong, there's two things that might happen. It might be a circuit breaker trips for a faulty product, or if there's an earth fault, it might be an RCD. Both will go at the same time probably. So if the lights go off, the thing may trip, but likewise the other breaker may also go off, which turns off more than just one circuit. You would then have to reset the main one and reset the circuit that's actually tripped. That would then put the product back in working order. So the fuse board's got a safety device which I showed you earlier. It's the RCD. It needs to be checked every 6 months by pressing the button on the front. Okay, so you have two types of telecommunication into your house. You have hyper optic and you have BT open reach. With either of these you'll get internet connections into your property. With the hyper optic you will get a telephone, but it will always go through the hyper optic. With BT open reach you get a separate telephone which comes as well as this. So your TVs are wired into the lounge and your master bedroom. The cables will go up into the attic where they are left for another provider to connect to. If you choose Sky, they will need to come in to fit the dish and connect onto the cables that come down to the point which is in front of you now. The kitchen has a carbon monoxide detector because it's got the gas boiler. It has to have a green light on to be functioning correctly. If anything else is on, it's faulty, but green's good. Test it once a week by pressing the button in the middle and change the battery annually. So we have the smoke detector in the hall and the landing. It has a green light on for functioning, and every 45 seconds a red light will flash. It has a test button on and the battery needs changing every year. Okay, so you have a fan in the wet area, the bathroom. It has an overrun timer, so when you turn the light on, the fan will start and go for a set amount of time. Then when you finish and you turn the light off, the fan carries on running until it's happy that the moisture has been taken out of the room.
So this is your loft space. You will get a small black key for this. However, we don't suggest you use it as storage. People have a tendency to. A Christmas tree, a suitcase, within hand's reach, absolutely fine. The issue being, people have a tendency when they do board it out, is they'll compact the insulation. So it should be a sort of 450 high. As soon as you start compacting it, it loses all its U values. So the heat from your house rises up, it manages to penetrate through to the cold space and then forms condensation and potential damp later on. So anything damp you might see would then not be covered under warranty because of that. So all your windows upstairs will just have a button to open the handle. Downstairs you'll have a key. The difference also with the upstairs is there's a little latch and it opens fully. Also then has the child catch. This is so it classifies as a fire escape. If you just hold it about this sort of point and you'll find that the window locks, but it acts as a further trickle vent to allow more ventilation into the house. Also on the windows you have trickle vents here. Very vital, especially in your first few months, that you really do utilise these, because we put a lot of moisture into the houses as we build them and that moisture gets trapped. So this just allows that moisture to naturally go out of the house. So you don't get any chance of mould and things like that. So front door, there's not a great deal to talk about, but there is just one important thing, and it's these locking points, which you can see. Unless you pull the handle up, these won't all engage. So once you've come in, it's important that even if you're indoors and even if you don't want to lock your door, it's important that you lift that handle up and just engage all these points. That will stop any potential twisting in the door where it's fully engaged. If you did want to lock it, that's fine. Just turn that thumb turn, unlock, absolutely fine. But just ensure every time you come in, you get into the habit of just pulling that handle up.
Okay, it's a gas boiler, which is a combination boiler. And we'll start off with the gauge for the pressure, which is currently at 1.5 bar. That needs to be between 1 and 2 bar of pressure. If it drops for any reason, then there is a filling loop underneath the boiler which needs to be connected, and the pressure can be increased from there, and obviously set it again at 1.5 bar. To the right of the gauge there is a dial which indicates a temperature for your hot water taps, which is currently on maximum, and that can be adjusted. To the middle of the boiler there is a LED display which shows the boiler temperature and any fault codes on the boiler. If there's a fault code, then there's a restart button that you can press. To the right of that there is a temperature dial for your radiators, and that can be, there is an economy setting which is recommended to be left at that, but in the winter when it's very cold it can be turned up to maximum. And then to the right of that there's a dial to change it from summer use, where you would only have your hot water taps on, or you can then change it in the winter for radiators. Okay, we're upstairs in the first floor service cupboard, and we've got a couple of zone valves which help control the upstairs and the downstairs central heating. And we've also got an automatic bypass valve which is set by the engineer, and for everything in this cupboard it's all to be left really, it's all been set by the engineer and not for the homeowner to use. Right, okay, this is the Honeywell room thermostat, which is located in your ground floor, and there's also one located on the first floor, and they operate the temperature of the room for the ground floor or the first floor. The basic controls is there's an on and off function, and there's a manual and an automatic setting, and on the manual setting you can just set it to the desired temperature and it will stay at that 24 hours a day, and on the automatic setting you can change it for various temperatures throughout the day. Obviously the instructions will guide you through how to set that up for your own needs, and there is also a holiday function if you desire. Okay, this is the central heating radiators, and most of the radiators will have a thermostatic radiator valve that can be adjusted from minimum on the off, then up to the frost setting, and then again to number 3, which is deemed a comfort setting, and then up to fully on. Every radiator will have them apart from the radiator in the room with the room thermostat, and that is there so it can help control the heating overall. Okay, we're at the ground floor kitchen cupboard where the incoming main stopcock is located, and we've got it labelled up here, main stopcock. To isolate it on and off you can just turn the lever. Above that we've got a stopcock for the outside garden tap, and that's clearly labelled, and it's recommended to turn it off in the winter time so it doesn't freeze outside. Over to the left hand side of the cupboard we've got 2 isolation valves. One of them is for the washing machine and the other one is for the dishwasher.
So your water meters are dictated by a small black box with a circular dish. You can usually open this with just a flathead screwdriver. They do vary ever so slightly in location depending on what house you're in. Usually they'll be in the footpath or the bark, and they are 9 times out of 10 dead in line with your kitchen tap. Okay, so you'll also have electric and gas meters. Now the gas will always be to the front of the house. However, you may well have a ground box depending whereabouts you are on site, and that'll be an orangey brown box on the front of the site. But a gas meter will be the same. You get the same gas key, and then you can open it and you'll see your gas meter readings. What they'll usually want is the E6 number when registering your meters. All the houses on this site are down with British Gas to start with. Electric then, they'll always be on the side of the house, sometimes the front, but they'll never be on a ground box like the gas. And again, the number you'd be looking for is the top right hand corner. Again, this is for checking your meters only. We don't suggest obviously switching any of these off. Hi, thanks for listening. That concludes our home demonstration. From everyone from Carla Homes and Origin, welcome to your new home, and we hope you enjoy it.